Okay, so let's go ahead and try to graph one more sine. So if we're going to graph this sine, it's sine of 2x plus pi over 2. First thing I'm going to do is pull out the 2 so that way I can see how it affects my period. So if I do that, I'm dividing out 2. So pi over 2 divided by 2. I'd flip it, so it'd be pi over 2 times 1/2. So plus pi over 4. Now I'm going to see what my amplitude, period, and if I have a shift. And my amplitude, nothing in front of the signs. My amplitude is just 1. My period this time is usually 2 pi, but it's 2 pi divided by whatever I can pull out, so 2 pi divided by 2. So my period is just going to be pi. My shift is going to go left, so negative pi over 4. Okay, so let's draw out a standard sine graph. Standard sine graph starts at 0, 0. Ends at 2 pi, but since I divided the 2 pi by 2, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So this one's going to end at pi. In the middle, it usually has a middle of pi, but again, I can just divide it by 2, so I'm going to get pi over 2. So in between, usually is pi over 2. Again, I'm going to divide that by 2, get pi over 4. That's where it hits the highest. My amplitude is 1, so the highest is 1. And then between these, again, it's usually 3 pi over 4. I'm going to divide by 2 and get, usually it's 3 pi over 2. I'm going to divide by 2 and get 3 pi over 4. That's where it's going to hit the lowest. Again, you could have done it by writing it out with the 2 pi and then dividing it all by 2. You could have done it by writing it out with 2 pi and saying, well, if it's only 0 to pi, my middle has to be halfway in between, so I could average them. This would be halfway in between, so I could average them. This would be halfway in between these two, so I could average them. There's many ways to do these. So my graph looks something like this. So now, if I'm just shifting left pi over 4, I'm really just subtracting pi over 4 from every one of these points. So instead of 0, it's going to start off at negative pi over 4. Instead of hitting 1 at pi over 4, it's going to hit 1 at 0. Subtract pi over 4. It's going to hit 0 at positive pi over 4. Pi over 2 minus pi over 4 give me a positive pi over 4. It's going to hit the lowest at pi over 2. That's when it'll be down to here. And at 3 pi over 4 is where it's going to end. So that's where it's going to hit 0 again. So my shifted graph should look like that. Okay.